Welcome back to the Triple Scoop. This is episode 4. I'm here as always with Diana.
Hello.
And Gregory.
Full name, huh?
Gregory.
Formal this episode.
Bartholomew.
Nope.
Bartholomew.
No.
No. Okay. Anyway, we're back. Episode 4. We've officially gone public where everyone's listening. Oh, we got air horns now. We're official. Get it?
Oh,
So to celebrate episode.
I feel like you for sure had that planned.
100%, absolutely. That's
Did
been
you
planned.
run that past you?
Nope.
Nope.
I had no clue.
I downloaded this like 3 days ago, and I have been so excited to do it.
Oh boy.
Anyway, we have air horns now, so your time investment has been well deserved. Today we're talking about movies. Yeah, I don't know if that made sense. Today we're talking about movies, favorite movies, some of our choice favorites, and then also some bad movies. So who would like to start with
I feel
movies?
Like
You should probably start.
This was kind of my idea, so I'll start. So I asked them to, ahead of time, to think about their most favorite movies of all time. At first I said top 3. I actually formulated my top 3, but I don't think they can narrow it down. So do we just want to start talking about like our favorite movies ever?
Sure.
Okay, so I'll start with mine. I'm not going to do my whole list. We'll do one at a time. Like I'll do a movie, Greg will do a movie, you'll do a movie.
Okay.
So my first movie, it's not going to be my number 1. I want to save that for last. But my favorite of this series is The Fellowship of the Ring from the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And the Hobbit and all that stuff.
There was a gasp from the audience.
Yes. Greg and I have actually Greg and most anybody me and most anybody I talk to about Lord of the Rings have a problem with this selection because
it's wrong.
Return of the King is majority of people's favorites, and it's a great movie. And that's the third one if you're not familiar with the Lord of the Rings saga. But Fellowship of the Ring is the first one, and it's the superior movie.
That's factually incorrect.
It's not incorrect.
It's factually incorrect.
It's not about factually. It's about my opinion.
Okay, yeah.
But it's also
So it's not
factually
superior.
correct. It is superior.
It's not. In no way is it superior.
How? Well, I mean, big battle scenes. That doesn't make a movie.
Feelings?
What do you mean the feelings? There's plenty of feelings in Fellowship of the
Sure,
Ring.
there's more in Return of the King.
Okay, there's more, but I mean, you have to have a good beginning to have a good end.
This is all just based on your nostalgia and your feelings. That's
Exactly.
why it's your favorite.
And it's
So
the
don't
best.
say that
It's the better movie.
It's not.
Okay, so Fellowship of the Ring is like 3 hours, right? Return of the King is like what, 4 hours?
No.
Yes.
I mean, if you watch the theatrical extended version.
The only battle scene that's in the Fellowship of the Ring is at the very beginning, and it's like 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Return of the King is like 2-hour battle scene.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. Like the battle scene will carry anything forward to
Sure.
be good,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So Fellowship of the Ring keeps you from start to finish. It keeps you engaged and excited the whole time, just based on story and like character interaction and lore building.
Yeah.
Whereas Return of the King, it does the same thing. And I love Return of the King, don't get me wrong, but it's just better to me.
Yeah, Return's better. Yeah, you're right.
Oh boy. Anyway, so that's one of my favorite movies. Obviously, I don't want to get into a huge debate, but Fellowship of the Ring is one of my favorites. Greg, why don't you say one of your favorite movies? And I'll tell you how much it sucks.
You won't.
I won't.
Yeah, because it's great.
Because I'm polite.
And because it's just a good movie.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go with The Departed.
Hey!
It's a high five. Yeah. So,
Wait for it.
Oh,
What was it?
The Departed.
That sums up that movie.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to a future episode where somebody has like a serious glum topic. And then,
Yeah.
to break the silence after you just hit it with one of those.
Yeah. And I never saw her again after she died in that car accident. Okay, Departed. Great movie.
The Departed.
Excellent choice.
I remember seeing it when I was a kid. It was maybe one of the first times that so many twists and turns had, affected my young brain. Probably saw it too young. I'm actively looking up when it came out.
2007. Damn it.
I guess I wasn't that young.
I'm usually really good on years, too.
I was like 15. But, yeah, it's incredible.
It's kind of young for Departed.
Sure. But, I mean...
Great movie. Really good movie.
Yeah.
On a side note, I love The Departed as well. And Diana really likes crime movies.
Yeah. So what's your favorite part of that movie that makes it one of your favorite movies?
God, it's so good.
That is hard to say.
I hate it but it's so good when you think that DiCaprio finally won.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, finally got him, and then the elevator doors open and just boom, gets brained,
Yeah.
shot right in the face.
Yeah.
I don't know, my favorite. There's too many parts for me to say my favorite part in that, but Alec Baldwin really steals the show.
Oh yeah.
Because he has like a thick Boston accent.
I'm gonna go smoke. Want to smoke? Want to smoke? Do you? What are you? One of those fitness freaks?
Go fuck yourself. Yeah, it's amazing. And Mark Wahlberg's in there. Who else is in that?
Matt Damon.
Matt
Denzel
Damon.
in there?
No.
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson. He's like the main bad guy.
Fucking
Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen. That's who I was looking
Mm-hmm.
for.
So far, no black guys. I don't know why I thought Denzel was in there.
Well, if you watch the movie, they actually make a point to like talk about how like that kind of is in Boston.
Yeah.
Like it's great movie. Well done. Good
Yeah.
choice.
Thank you.
Diana?
Well, one of my favorite movies of all time that always comes to mind is a animated movie, and that movie is a Goofy movie.
Excellent choice. That is a.
I could watch that movie over and over and over again. It is just that great, and just kind of reminds me of my childhood, and yeah.
Really rip your heart out. I always think of the scene where Goofy's making the soup by himself and his son's being a little asshole. And I think of my dad and I just want to give him a hug.
Yeah.
Aww.
I think my dad took me to the theater to see that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man.
So it's a tear at the heartstrings, but it's
Yeah.
also awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What did it come out? 94? 95?
That was later than that.
It was 95, I believe.
We're Googling.
'Cause that shirt that I just got, I think it says
95.
95.
Hey!
Yeah. So, big Powerline fan. Good soundtrack to that movie.
We actually have that soundtrack on cassette tape that we
Yep.
used to listen to while we went on road trips.
It will be an heirloom that I will pass along to our son.
That's awesome.
So.
Have you seen I showed Greg on TikTok the other day, they had the thing where people take VHS tapes, well this one person takes
Yeah.
a VHS tape of the old Disney movies, and they like paint it to where like, you know, because it's useless, you're not going to have a VHS player anymore. They like paint.
Also known as a VCR.
Yeah. Well, sorry, jeez. So the VHS tape, they like take it and they paint like cool artwork on it like from the movie, and then they like put it on the wall or like display it.
Oh, that's cool.
That was
So
cool.
we could do that with that cassette tape.
Who's gonna paint it?
Yeah,
You
it
have to
was-
send to this person TikTok?
I mean, I'll do my best. I mean, I can paint something on there. Just says Goofy. Yeah.
I'm good.
Painted outside the lines.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's see. Okay, I'll go next. So one of my other favorite movies of all time, and it's a deep cut, but I feel like both of you should agree with me, is the original Halloween.
It's good.
Michael Myers.
Yep.
Yes, that's one of my. I love that movie, even if it's not Halloween.
The Halloween song.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm gonna find it just because
It'll,
it's that
it'll
good.
creep you out. You can get down to it.
Copywriting issues,
Oh.
possibly.
Maybe. I guess we don't really know how this whole like podcast copyright
Yeah.
stuff works, but it goes like.
Yep.
Should I keep going?
Nope. Please don't.
No, but that movie changed my whole life. I remember the first time I watched it, I went over my buddy Alex. I went over to his house in, I think it was 7th grade after he just moved up here, and I had never seen it before. And I went over to his house, and we were like, oh, what are we going to do? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, what's that movie? And it was like I don't know if you've seen the cover of the movie, it shows like the knife.
Oh, yeah.
But it turns into like a pumpkin.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh, let's watch that. That looks cool. And it changed my life forever.
Was it Halloween time when you first watched it?
Yeah, it was like early October, late September. It was like after school started, and he had just transferred up here from Texas.
Oh.
And we watched that, and it legitimately like changed my whole world.
Nice.
I love that freaking movie.
Yeah.
Just the whole. First of all, they did it on such a low budget, and they used some of them. Like a lot of people think that the original Halloween, like really started like horror where it's at today, like utilizing that formula. Because before that, it was like. And they actually pay homage to it in the actual movie itself with like, you know, these 50s style like Creature from Black Lagoon kind of movies and stuff like that. But that was really the first time that it really utilized like all the 80s movies like Freddy Krueger and Jason, all that stuff. Those would not exist if Halloween weren't made. And then there's always that, and I've shown you, every time Halloween comes around, I always text, you know, Greg and, you know, Diana and all my other friends and stuff like that about pictures of like just from that movie of like Michael Myers standing, like his silhouette, like they call him the Shape, like his silhouette, like in the background of like a house all lit up in like a dark fall night. I love that shit.
Yeah.
Freaking love it.
Yep.
Thoughts?
Solid pick.
The best.
Yeah. Big fan.
I don't know if that's my favorite horror movie of all time. I got into a really big horror phase probably early high school, and I would watch a lot of the older ones, like the original Omen and Children of the Corn, and I know, and The Shining and all that stuff. So those are some freaky movies, but
Have you seen? Yeah, you've seen The Shining then. Have you seen The Shining?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
yeah.
That's
a
a movie.
Fuck
Yeah.
you up. Like,
Yeah.
it just, like,
That's like
The
a
original
cerebral
Omen
horror.
Fucking terrifies
Oh
me.
my
All of
gosh.
those. Or The Exorcist.
Damien.
Yes.
Have you seen The Exorcist?
Yeah.
That part where she crawls backwards down the stairs
Oh.
I think the part where the
like a spider.
Yeah.
Is it a nanny? She's like, Damien, this is for you, and then jumps off the building and hangs herself.
Yes.
Yeah, what is
That's
that
the
from?
wor-
Is
that's
that The Omen? Yeah.
That's the
that was
Omen,
that's
yeah.
the worst
It's all
part
for you,
me.
Damien.
And then
Yeah.
Yeah. What a
Man.
cool part, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like my parents thought there was something wrong with me when I was growing up because I love these kind of movies, like love them.
Yeah.
And actually, I used to like do
Kill
drawings
squirrels?
and stuff like that. No, that's little serial killers. But my mom can attest. I used to like draw pictures because I saw Friday the 13th when I was like young. This is before I saw Halloween, so probably like grade school. And I used to draw pictures of like Jason, like with a hockey mask and a knife and stuff. And I would be like, "Look, Mom," and she'd be like, "Oh, yay! I'll send this to your psychiatrist." And but seriously, like you should ask her like tonight when they come over, like because it is seriously like I love those genres.
Yeah.
But then I hit a point in 2010, 2011 when Paranormal Activity came out,
Ugh.
and that fried my brain
Ugh.
to the point where I just avoided horror movies because there was this big ghost phase
Yeah.
for that whole like
Yeah.
basically this whole decade up until like maybe a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Paranormal Activity screwed me up royally.
I didn't go to sleep until the sun came up for a week.
Yeah.
After I saw
that.
that.
Yeah. Diana and I were together, and I would she'd go to bed because I'm kind of a night owl anyway. She'd go to bed, and I would just be like awake and terrified. It was horrible, dude.
I couldn't sleep with a leg out of the covers for like 5 years.
Yeah, dude. Well, it's movies like that, Blair Witch, Halloween even. I mean, these movies come along, they just change it, like Scream.
Yeah.
They just changed everything.
Yeah.
And so it's like you watch them and it's just not anything you've ever seen before. But Paranormal Activity screwed me up
The
so
Ring.
hard, dude. Yeah, The
The
Ring
Ring
or The
I never
Grudge.
saw The Ring.
What?
Oh, The Grudge.
That was I avoided scary movies. So my mom took me to see Sixth Sense when I was a
That
child.
didn't ever scare me.
Really?
Ever.
How old were you when you saw it?
12, 13? It didn't scare me.
Well, you
I
got
was
it.
like 7.
I know, and like take
I
4
mean,
years
yeah.
off that.
I mean, it was like suspenseful, but I never was like, oh.
Well, there, when he goes out and to get a drink or go to the bathroom or something, and he's like, "Look what you made me do," and she's got her wrists all cut. That was pretty cool.
I mean, I laughed
as a
at that
child.
part.
Oh, did you?
No, I'm just kidding. I just it
He
never.
drew portraits of it.
Yeah, no, I drew a few things, gave it to my mom. Happy birthday. or whatever. I was a teenager at that point, so I'm going to the movies, but I thought about you. So
Stupid.
we used to, as a family, we'd drive around and look at Christmas lights, and so it was my parents, me, and my sister, and we're driving around, and my sister's a bad person, and there's a
oh,
part
hi, if your sister's listening, that's your brother.
there's a part
Big shout out.
There's a part in The Sixth Sense where there's a kid and he's like, "Hey, do you want to see my dad's gun?" And he turns around and his brains are all blown out. And so we're driving around having a nice family experience looking at Christmas lights, and my sister says that to me just to bring me down.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I hate
fear
your
in me.
sister now too. That's a horrible thing to say. Is this the same sister that was talking about how like if your parents cheat on each other, she's
Yeah.
going with your mom? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet sister, Greg.
Love you.
I remember
We've moved past it.
See
Yeah, I
you
know, right?
Thanksgiving. We've moved past it.
I remember not seeing that twist at the end of The Sixth Sense
Oh, no,
coming.
yeah.
I did not.
I remember it happened, and I was like so
You're like-
terrified that I just didn't care.
Like,
I was like, "Oh, yep, okay, dead, cool."
I wanted to watch the movie all over again right away because I was like, I feel like now you have to look at it totally different. But
Do you remember the first time you saw Blair Witch?
yeah.
Never seen it.
What?
Yeah.
You played the video game?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you didn't still?
Yeah.
Dude, Blair Witch is messed up.
My sister and her boyfriend at the time snuck me into that movie because it was it rated R or
Probably.
I think
Yeah.
it was just R,
No,
not
it was
like
100%. Yeah.
not above R is
Oh.
what I was talking
Oh,
about.
I gotcha.
And so
I've never
I was
seen- yeah.
12 when
Yeah.
it came out and they
Ugh.
snuck me in and
Nope.
You regret?
It was just creepy. That's the kind of stuff I like though. I'm not a huge fan of like all the blood and gore type of horror movies. I like the suspenseful ones.
The other movie, okay, so a little story here. So it was like 2010 when we saw Paranormal Activity, and I was completely checked out on horror movies. Completely checked out on horror movies. I was over it. It's about 4 years later. We moved into our new house, and at that point the basement was still unfinished. And I remember seeing the trailer for The Conjuring in the movie theaters, and I was like, wow, that looks really I'm not in. Nope, no thanks. And I remember we went to my buddy's house and his wife, and we went over there to their house on like Halloween, I think it was.
I think so.
And we were like, oh, let's watch a scary movie. And I was like, yeah. And of course, being the biggest Halloween honk of all time, I'm like, let's watch Halloween because that's my favorite movie. And I think a lot of people are annoyed by it, but anyway, whatever. But so he's like, actually, we were going to watch The Conjuring. Have you seen that yet? And I was like, no, man, I'm good on that. But everyone wanted to watch it, and I didn't want to be kind of the jerk. So popped it in, and I said to myself the entire movie, I was like, okay, it'll be fine. It's okay. It's fine. It's going to be good. It's going to be, it's not Paranormal Activity. That was a one-off. It's not going to be that big of a deal. Conjuring.
Wrong.
Oh, God. Conjuring tore that old, there's no other way to say that. Tore that scab off. And just reintroduced me to the entire horror. Oh my God, I was
Threw
so
some
scared.
salt in there and called you a
Oh
bitch.
my God, dude, it was so scary. And again, we're in a brand new house. Still getting used to the house sounds. We can talk about house sounds later, but every house has sounds, and you have to get used to them when you first move in. And so I'm still getting used to the house sounds. The basement's unfinished, and this all takes place in like a house with like a spirit in it. And there is some imagery in that movie that just really got me. It completely exploded my brain.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that was bad. And then
What was
since
that
then
actor,
it hasn't been like that.
The main actor in that movie, Patrick something.
Patrick Willis? No, that's a football player.
He was in,
Patrick
like,
Wilson.
season-
I was close.
Oh, Patrick.
Yeah.
I had that up quick.
Yeah. Well, I got.
Oh, okay.
I'm ready. Did you ever see Signs?
I don't think so.
I never
Dude.
got that into that one. That was the one with tinfoil on your the aliens. See,
And
I
the
was
water.
never.
I know about the water.
Yeah, I was never big into the alien
My man
genre.
Joaquin.
It wasn't really a horror movie as it was just a thriller. But that movie, 2004.
I would say that's a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, but it's a sci-fi thriller.
Okay.
That movie was very scary. Like, it's one of those things, like, I have a few, I'm not going to say it on here because then people will come over here and mess with me, but I have a few different things that really creep me out, and Conjuring, Paranormal Activity, Signs, movies like that, they really tap into that. And that's when a movie can tap into your like really your like big fears. I'm not talking about like spiders or snakes or whatever. I'm talking about like really stuff that like terrifies you, like will make you like just freeze. I love that stuff, but at the same time really hate that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the movie Seven. Do you remember that?
Seven didn't scare me, but I loved it.
Yeah. Like the suspense of it.
Also
It's
a
just
good
like,
movie.
Whoa, somebody like so like mentally messed up and all the crazy stuff.
What's the best line from that movie? Do you remember it?
I don't.
What do you?
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
Yeah.
Sorry. No.
Jerry Seinfeld say that? Sorry.
What's the deal with heads in boxes? What's in the box?
Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Sorry.
All these movies are pretty
I mean,
old.
7 came out, what, 96?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that, yeah, so I'm not too worried about it. Anyway, so long story short, Halloween, all these movies we just touched on would not exist. None of them would be nearly as cool as they are without the original, the OG Halloween 1978. You're welcome. Greg, next.
Inglourious Bastards.
Woo!
Very good movie.
It's I saw that in theaters more than I've seen any other movie.
Really?
Yep.
Fern Gully included?
I think I think I ended up seeing it 6
remember
times,
Fern
and it's
Gully?
like 3 hours long. So I spent 18 hours of my life in a movie theater watching that.
That's crazy.
Went to see it at the midnight release, and that was back before everybody was a bunch of Sallies, and they actually had midnight releases at midnight.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my friend showed up.
Those were the best.
Yeah, they were the best.
They were the best.
And my friend forgot his ID. Shout out to Nick Spore, and we couldn't watch it.
Really?
Yeah.
They like were strict about it.
Yep. They asked for his ID. He said he didn't have it. They said, sorry, can't come in.
Wow.
I mean, it's a pretty hardcore movie.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I know, it's great. I'm just saying, like, it's pretty, you know.
That's another
Cracking
genre
skulls.
that I think I appreciate more than a lot of other girls. Like, I really enjoy, like, the World War II war movie genre, and
Gangster movies.
yeah, I like those as well. But, like, what was that one movie where they were in the tank for, like,
Fury.
that was a
So
good movie.
Yeah,
The
dude.
audio in that movie's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And
I can't remember if that was based on a true story or not.
I don't,
I don't think it was.
Well, it's cool anyway.
remember
It's super
either.
cool.
Did you ever see Hacksaw Ridge?
No.
Man,
Yeah, heard it was good.
that's a
Don't
movie.
remember.
It's
Ridge? Don't
So
remember.
that's where the
the
guy's
Pacific
medic, right?
campaign. Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
medic, but he doesn't want to carry a gun. When I saw the preview for it in the theater, I was like,
Those
this is
Andrew
gonna.
Garfield.
yeah.
We watched that together. Yeah.
When I saw that movie in the theater, I was like, this is gonna be the lamest war movie of all time.
So
I don't want to
good.
carry a gun. Like I thought it had like a political message. Dog, that movie is brutal. Like severely brutal.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Like, but it's a true story too. It's like so.
Yeah.
These guys have to get over. They call it Hacksaw Ridge because like they're on this island. I can't remember what island chain it is, but they're on this island against the Japanese, and they basically have to like crane the troops up to like try and get over. It's like a cliffside basically.
Yeah.
Dude, it is carnage. It's
Yeah.
like it's like more hardcore, maybe even than Saving Private Ryan. Like it's good.
You'll have to watch that.
Oh my gosh, it's good, and it's based on a true story. So that and the war movies too. I'm the same way. Anytime.
I mean, you just mentioned Saving Private Ryan.
That's
one
the
of
original-
The best,
Yep.
war movies of all time.
Well, I think, because did you guys watch like when you were kids, like old war movies like Tora Tora Tora, or what's the other one? Darn it, they have like countless World War II movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Tora 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 stands out because that's the invasion of Pearl Harbor or whatever. But they're all like movies in like the 50s, 60s, and 70s. They all have like a really distinct feel to them. And the 80s movies were more like Rambo, like just gratuitous,
they
you
didn't
know,
really go on
holding a big LMG on your right hand, ah, you know what I'm saying, and like
M60.
Terminator. Yeah,
Yep.
I said Terminator, but that's not a war movie. Anyway, technically it is a war movie because it's a future war.
Yeah.
Shout out to John Connor. But no, Saving Private Ryan was like one of those for even like looking back at like just war movies in general. That was the first war movie that was like really like not like just heart
It
pain, but like
felt
heartbreaking.
real. Yeah, it felt real, and not just like you were watching almost like documentary like footage
Yeah.
or like very historical presentation. It had that story behind it that made it like with all the
Yeah.
feelings and stuff.
I remember when I saw, what's that? It's Bradley Cooper. He's a sniper. True story.
American Sniper.
Oh,
American
Silver
Sniper.
Linings Playbook.
So American Sniper, when I saw that in theaters,
Is it not Silver Linings Playbook?
American Sniper.
Oh yeah, American Sniper.
at the like towards the end of the movie where they're playing like the real footage of like his funeral and like the
Yeah.
procession and everything, and
Yeah.
there were like vets in the theater, and I remember this older guy, he like got up and like collapsed on the steps and was just like weeping.
In your theater?
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, because it hit him so hard. Jesus.
That was the perfect opportunity.
Sure.
But yeah, you're right. It did.
Terrible
Yeah,
movie.
sorry everybody. I support every bit of our veterans and war heroes.
Insane.
But no, I mean, it's true. But at the same time, yeah, those kind of movies. I would imagine if you're a veteran that actually took place in those campaigns. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because they make movies these days so real.
Yeah.
And Saving Private Ryan was kind of the first one that really did it. That made it so like you're there.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So no, I can totally understand that.
Yeah.
But
The more recent war movies, I mean, I guess Inglourious Basterds would be more recent, but like talking about more recent wars and war movies, the ones that I think lately they've done really well have been what's the bomb one with Jeremy Renner?
Hurt Locker.
Yeah, Hurt Locker.
Hurt
Yeah.
Locker.
That one
was
Best Picture.
excellent movie.
Yep.
The one with Jessica Chastain when they got
Zero Dark 30.
Oh,
Everyone give me a high five.
such a good movie.
Yes,
And
that
then
was so good.
There's
God.
one more that's on the tip of my tongue that they did.
The Kingdom. You ever seen that with Jamie Foxx?
Yeah.
They go to Saudi Arabia and they're an FBI investigation team and they go to investigate a terrorist attack.
Huh.
good.
That's just as good as the Hurt Locker or anything else.
Yeah.
Very good.
Did you see Lone Survivor?
Yes.
Mhm.
That's really good.
That was really good too.
When we saw that one in theaters, and towards the end, when they're like the Afghan village is protecting Mark Wahlberg, and then the Blackhawks roll in and just start laying down.
God, that's so
laying
cool.
down fire. My friend got up in the theater, he's like, "Get some!"
Yeah, dude. You know what's an unsung hero of a war movie? G.I. Jane. I love that movie. Like
Okay.
it's
I don't know.
like just as a war movie. What's his name? Viggo Mortensen.
How dare you?
Sorry, Aragorn. Viggo Mortensen is in that movie. It is exceptional. It's
It's pretty good.
exceptional. It's like a SEAL team. Like she's training to be like
Yeah.
a SEAL
Yeah.
or something like that, or an Army Ranger or something like that. It's freaking awesome. But I just want to give a big shout out to that. And then what was the other one I was thinking of? It takes place like in Afghanistan or Iraq.
Jarhead?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jarhead, great movie. And that actually, there's really not a whole lot of war in that. It's more
But what is there is heavy.
well, yeah, it's more of the war within the mind kind of a thing. How a soldier or how somebody deals with that kind of environment or something like
The
that.
parts where they're walking through the burning oil fields.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Man.
Jamie Foxx is really good in that movie too.
Yeah.
This will kind of lead to one of my favorite movies of all time, and that would be Pearl Harbor.
Oh,
Love Pearl Harbor.
Absolutely love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about it.
It's very Jerry Bruckheimer-y, kind of, big and bombastic and stuff
Yeah,
like
but
that.
in the right way.
In the very right way.
Yeah.
I love Pearl Harbor. People, a lot of people, I remember when that first came out, they tore it apart. I went and saw it with my dad, and I remember, I think he got pretty emotional about it. But a lot of people tore that movie apart for just how it did. Like
Yeah.
Cuba Gooding Jr., or, he didn't have a big enough part or anything like that.
Yeah.
And, dog, I felt it was an awesome movie. And
Really
it tugs
good.
at the heartstrings,
Yep.
you
Yeah.
know? And it does tell the story of a woman playing both sides of the coin,
Yeah.
But not a big fan of that. But either way, I mean, it's a damn good movie. The only other movie I can think of recently that came out war movie status was probably what? You pointed at me.
the movie. They're in France.
Oh,
Dunkirk.
Dunkirk.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
That
that's-
deserves an
that's
air
the-
horn.
That's the other one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Hold on, we need an air horn for Dunkirk.
I feel like we're abusing the air horn.
Oh, Thug Life. I just picked a random one. Yeah, Dunkirk's amazing.
That movie was excellent, yeah.
Well, the sound design in that
Oh,
movie
man.
too.
Yeah.
That was Christopher Nolan, yeah?
Yes.
So good.
That movie threw me off though, like, because they kind of, the way they cut it, it was like,
It was so good.
it
It's like a day, a week.
yeah. That part, it was
An
kind of
hour,
confusing to
something like that.
follow, but it made sense once you kind of,
At the end, yeah.
yeah, once it
You
all
put
kind of came together.
You know what's really sad? I've seen it once.
Ugh.
I have not seen it again since.
Ugh.
It's very sad because it's an amazing movie. And I usually make a point to see amazing movies more
Saw
than
that
once.
one 3 times in theaters.
Yeah.
When it's out.
Damn it. I think you can't really talk about, I mean, not necessarily war movies, but your movie specifically, like Inglourious Basterds, the one that you brought up,
Yeah.
without talking about Tarantino in general.
Yep.
Because he's a master.
Yep. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is incredible.
That's probably going to be one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Greg told us, like, when it came out, he said, I went and saw this movie last night, and it's phenomenal, and you and Diana need to come with me and watch it immediately.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, maybe we'll do that. And he cut me off, and he's like, no, like, legitimately, I'll, like, buy your tickets. Like, we're going tonight. Like, just call Diana and let her
Find a
know.
babysitter.
And I was like, yeah, man, we'll figure it out. And he's like, no, you're not listening. We're going to the movies tonight. We're like, fine. I told Diana, I was like, he's kind of demanding it. And I would kind of like to see it. It wasn't like it was on my radar, but it was
Yeah.
like, yeah, that'd be good on Netflix or something like
Yeah.
that. It is legitimately one of the. It's probably going to win Picture of the Year.
It better.
It better.
think
I
so.
mean,
Well,
I
we got Joker and Midway and that World War I movie we just saw the
I
trailer
feel like
for.
it's going to win.
I hope it does.
Because it should.
Yeah.
Because it's so good.
Yeah.
But it's just like Tarantino. I mean, you got to talk about that. Obviously, that's probably his best.
I think so, yeah.
And then
I do too.
Like, I
really
didn't
do.
say it over Inglourious Basterds because I've had Inglourious Basterds in my life for so
I don't
much
know, man.
longer, but
See, and that's the thing why I say why it's probably going to be one of my
Yeah.
favorite movies of all time,
So
just
fresh.
because, like, yeah, it is still so fresh.
But he
and I
has
haven't
made
seen-
so few movies. Was that his 10th or 9th?
ninth.
I mean, you got to talk about Hateful Eight. A lot of people didn't like it for some reason. I loved Hateful Eight.
I enjoyed it. It was entertaining. It wasn't like super memorable. Like it didn't
I loved it.
stick out in my memory like Inglourious Basterds or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Kill-
Django.
Oh yeah, Django
Django
Unchained,
was
so
very
good.
good.
Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. And this might be controversial, I don't know, maybe not. But I enjoy Kill Bill Volume 1 a lot more than Kill Bill Volume 2. Both amazing, but Kill Bill Volume 1 when she fights the crazy 88
Yeah.
in the Japanese building.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
So good.
And she goes and gets her Hattori Hanzo sword. Actually, well, no, that's Kill Bill Part 2, isn't it? Anyway,
I don't remember. It's been a while.
Quentin Tarantino is phenomenal. Well
Yeah.
done. Excellent choice.
Was his first movie
Pulp Fiction. Yeah.
That was his
No,
first?
Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
Or was
So-
it?
I
Yeah,
feel
it
like
was.
Reservoir Dogs
Dogs,
first.
yeah. And then Pulp Fiction, and then that kind
Well,
of
what
launched
about
him.
didn't he do
I guess I can just
From
loop
Dusk
it.
Till Dawn?
Yeah, but that was after
Was it?
Pulp Fiction, yeah. Because I remember I was in grade school. I was in 4th grade when Pulp Fiction came out. And From Dusk Till
Really,
Dawn
I thought
came
that
out.
was an 80s almost
No.
movie. That's why I was like trying to think. I was like, I feel like he has done more than 8 or 9 movies.
I'm just going to look up his filmography. And we'll just go right through them.
Yeah, Reservoir Dogs.
So yeah, Reservoir Dogs was his opening, and then it was True Romance, which I have no memory of. Maybe I haven't seen it. Pulp Fiction, Natural Born Killers, Four Rooms, From Dusk Till Dawn, Jackie Brown, Kill Bill 1 and 2, Sin City, which I think he was a producer. Yeah, he was like a guest. So some of these aren't like directly directed by him. Grindhouse, Death Proof, Grindhouse, Planet Terror. Didn't see those, I'll be honest. Inglourious Bastards, Django, Hateful Eight, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I think that first column is probably the directed, so you can see
Oh,
which
yeah.
ones he didn't direct.
So anyway, he's phenomenal. And again, if you haven't seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood yet, go see it, because it's probably A, his best movie he's ever done, and B, my choice for movie of the year, even all these other movies that haven't come out yet.
You were literally doubled over holding onto the railing because you were laughing so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not a comedy, I don't
No.
think. Like
there's definitely a lot of funny parts.
Yeah.
no, I was dying.
But yeah.
Dying.
Everybody was.
Like I kind of was uncomfortable for after a while, because I was like, the girl next to me is gonna go get the manager. It was amazing. That's the thing. If a movie can make you, it's like It Part 1.
Yep.
We were same thing. We were laughing our asses off when we first saw that movie, but then at the same time, 5 minutes later, we were like, ah,
Yeah.
just terrified.
Left terrified. Yeah.
But that's the thing. If it elicits that many emotions and does it like all of them well,
Yep.
that's the sign of a good movie. But the ones that, do everything right, just like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that's just the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was, well, it's still too new for anybody who hasn't seen it. So just go see it, and then if you see me around, let's talk about it, because it's freaking amazing. Anyway, Diana,
I said Pearl Harbor.
dude, Pearl Harbor, nice job. My favorite movie of all time, and if you already know me, you already know this, but my favorite movie of all time is Empire Strikes Back, Episode 5 of the Star Wars saga.
Yeah.
It is the perfect movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Period. It's got everything. And actually, we just went and saw It Chapter 2
Yep.
recently. And I told Greg when we were walking out of the theater, because It Chapter 2, I guess a little bit of a spoiler if you haven't seen it. I mean, it ends kind of how you would expect, but I was walking out with the theater with Greg, and I was like, you know what? I just think I really just don't like a happy ending.
Yeah. You said that.
I like a dark, hopeless ending. I don't know. Is that
Really?
weird? Like-
More of like a, like where, well, shit, they didn't get what they wanted, or, well, now we don't know what happens. Like more
Yeah.
than a cliffhanger, or like a...
Well, I mean, so I use Empire Strikes Back as the barometer for every movie I see, because it's just, in my opinion, it's perfect. The ending of that movie it has some hope, but at the same time, it's just so hopeless.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's beautiful. And maybe it's just because that movie specifically is in the Star Wars, world or universe, because I love Star Wars. Maybe that's why I give it so much praise.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, to have a movie that dark at that time, we were talking about what a fantasy space sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
This is 3 years after the original Star Wars came out,
Yeah.
which lit the world on fire. With the end of that movie shows Luke, Han, and Chewie getting a medal for blowing up the Death Star.
Yeah.
That's spoiler alert, but if you haven't seen that movie by now, you just don't talk to me. It shows those guys getting a medal, and everyone's happy, and the last scene is everyone clapping for him, and Chewie yells and stuff like that. It's like, oh, Star Wars, yay, zippity skippy.
Yeah.
And then 3 years following that, toys, lunchboxes, pajamas, everything have been sold, and these kids are going nuts. And then you have Empire Strikes Back, which for the most of the movie is pretty, hey, Nito Burrito, we're back. And then the third act, just Vader versus Luke, chops his hand off. He falls off the thing. Han captured, and he's tortured. And that's pretty crazy for a Star Wars movie. Tortured and then put in carbonite. Leia and him, they have their little moment. And then, finally, oh, we're going to save Han. And you think they're going to save him, but then Boba Fett gets away with him. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And think about being in 1980 and being like, yay, Star Wars. And then you leave the theater and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
Han's captured. And
Yep.
Did they know it was going to be a trilogy?
Yes.
Going into the second movie?
So this is amazing. This is one of my favorite things about the whole thing. So Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, they had the crawl at the beginning, and it said Star Wars, and it had the thing. People sitting down to watch Empire Strikes Back, they sat down in the theater. First time any of them ever found out, the crawl starts, and it says Star Wars Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back.
Really?
So
That's
everybody's
true.
like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, is
Yeah.
that? That's crazy. I didn't know that little bit of trivia.
But we had the ability to, oh no, Han, I can't believe, get the Return of the Jedi out of its case and let's put it in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Can you imagine walking out of the theater
When
in
you just found
1980
out
that Han is captured and there's more episodes?
when Vader.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, it's pop culture everything right now. Darth Vader is Luke's father. I can't believe I missed that point.
Yeah. Big deal.
Everything. Huge deal.
Luke lost his hand.
Luke lost his hand. He told him it was his father, and so there's this huge debate on for the next 3 years: is he really his father? Is he not? Is he just lying to him and stuff like that? George Lucas, we don't think about it much today, but I feel like he mind fucked everybody in 1980, crazy. Think of the phenomenon that it was.
Oh yeah.
And he turned it on its head, and that's why it's the best movie of all time for so many factors. For me, it's just there was such a clean roadmap that he could have taken to just cash in money, blah blah blah, let's make it happy, blah blah blah, but he didn't. He went completely balls to the wall with it. Any movie that I see, no matter if it's Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, a war movie, it doesn't matter. It always comes down to, is it better than Empire Strikes Back? After we saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I thought to myself, is this better than Empire Strikes Back? It's up there, but it's not better in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Maybe my nostalgia is too powerful to ever have that be dethroned. I probably is at this point. Empire's probably going to be there forever. But for my money, that is just my favorite movie ever. Ever.
Yeah.
It's the best. Anyway.
Respect that.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yes, you?
So you've basically every day this week you've asked if I've had my 3 movies and my number one all time, and every time I tell you no.
By the way, have you had your list ready?
And but I've thought about it, and every time I had a list, like if you asked me this last week, Inglourious Basterds and Departed might not have been on it. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's true.
I
it ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
But every time I make the list, the only movie that's always in there is Gladiator.
Crow.
Woo! God, it's so good.
It's the frost.
Yeah.
Makes the blade stick.
Yep.
I have it right there in the shelf.
When he rides when he gets to his house and he sees his wife and son hanging there. And
what
he
a
kisses
powerful.
her dirty feet.
Yeah, God, that's hard. Especially now as a parent.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's hard. What a movie.
So, it's so good.
When did you first see it?
In theaters.
Really?
Yeah.
In 2000?
Yeah.
As like a 5-year-old?
I was 9. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I didn't. I got to see it on HBO.
Yeah.
Man, what a movie.
Mm-hmm.
That first opening scene you could go on and on about that movie.
The German hordes.
Yeah, the Germanians, not the Germans. Germanians.
I said the German hordes.
Yeah, you're right.
Fuck.
Sorry. No, but that whole thing,
Yeah.
it's like 24 frames per second. It was shot that way, and that's kind of inside baseball, kind of a technical thing. But it just makes everything pop. It just makes everything just move perfectly.
That barbarian leader comes out and he shouts whatever he shouts. And he throws the cut off head.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Of like the emissary.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. Oh, dude, that is such a.
Man.
We need to watch. Maybe we should watch that tonight.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Just tell them to kick rocks.
Jesus.
Is that the one with the fighting pit? Or does it have the fighting pit, but it has
No, it does.
circular.
Yep. The Colosseum
No.
of Rome.
No.
Let her finish.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The hole in the middle of like this courtyard.
That's 300.
Okay, that's I get those confused.
Yeah.
Also an amazing movie.
Also great. Yeah.
It's 300 and Gladiator. I feel like are pretty similar, but also stylized differently, of course.
Yeah.
Like 300 is a little more graphic novel inspired, whereas Gladiator is more of a feature film.
Yeah.
You know. But God, Gladiator, what a great choice! I'm so glad you picked that.
Thank you.
God, what a great movie.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
Finish it.
No.
Father to a murdered son. Husband to a murdered wife. and I will have my vengeance.
You missed that he was commander of the.
In this life or the next. Well, I didn't remember that part, to be fair.
That's why I didn't want to finish it.
Thank
I
you.
didn't want to do
Okay.
a
Well,
disservice.
see, I'm always down to be humiliated publicly. So we.
In this life or the next.
Yes, thank you. God, what a great freaking movie. How about when he fights those guys in the Coliseum and the tigers pop out? Because Joaquin Phoenix, at that point he's Caesar. I can't remember his direct name at the beginning of the movie, but he's doing thumbs up, thumbs down. He finally finds out that it's him, but the crowd's in love with him. It's Maximus, and so he's like, but then he's like, oh, let's mess with him and let's bring tigers in and stuff. And he just, what a movie. God. And then at the end, so great, but so tragic.
So
Ugh.
when he's just floating through the fields.
Yeah,
and
dude.
Sees his family.
And the soundtrack behind that, it's like, oh, so good. When have you last seen Gladiator?
I think I've maybe seen it once with you.
What?
Oh boy.
I know.
Oh.
Change that, but
what a movie.
The first fight that he's going in, he's chained to the guy.
Yeah, dude.
And the guy pisses himself, and he runs out, and he just gets fucking maced in the face.
And he has to chop his arm off. Yeah. God.
Oh man, it's so good.
That's a great freaking choice. High five again. Well done.
When
That's a high fives.
That is an amazing try. I love movies. Like, I grew up watching movies. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, we did a lot of stuff as a family. We did a lot of stuff with my friends. I did a lot of stuff outside. But honestly, like, one of my main passions is movies, and that is an excellent, excellent choice.
Thank you. I would need to see it again real soon.
God, we need to, for sure. Anyway, you're...
So, on that note, every time I was asked if I have my list, I would say yes and kind of lie, because like you said...
nice marriage over here.
like you said, though, it kind of depends on my mood and what I'm feeling and this, that, and the other. So, it's really hard for me to pick, like, a favorite movie of all time, because it depends. So, all of my picks are just movies. I rank a good movie on, can I watch this over and over and over again without really getting sick of it?
Right.
So that's where my picks come from. So my next pick is going to be The Dark Knight.
Yeah. Posters on the wall right now.
Fantastic.
Yep.
There it is.
Absolutely love that movie. I could watch it over and over and over again. Heath Ledger is phenomenal in that movie. The way he plays the Joker is the best, even the ones before him and the ones that have come after. He has set the bar too high. I just love that movie.
The way it begins is just perfect.
And it actually
The bank robbery.
feels like it ends two different times before it actually ends.
Yeah.
Like, I love that movie
God,
so very much.
Good.
I have so many
Even-
favorite
Great-
parts of that
great
movie.
choice, yeah.
Even with all my, like, I could watch the Marvel movies, like, over and over again, but I think if, like, right now, if you're like, okay, only one superhero movie that you can put in your top 5, 10, whatever, I think
That's it.
The Dark Knight has to be it, even though I love all the Marvel movies.
Like the recent Avengers movies, Infinity War and Endgame, are incredible.
Yeah.
But they're not better than The Dark Knight.
Yeah. I don't think they're better than Dark Knight Rises either.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And actually, Dark Knight Rises is just as gritty and that's the thing I love about Christopher Nolan's movies, is he makes them very real and very down to earth and very tangible. Does that make sense? So they're made in a way that it's like, oh, this could happen. Yeah. Like a guy named the Joker could absolutely, have a cut face and just make a, it's so great. Is it fictional? Sure. But in Batman, all Batman movies before that has just been like,
cartoony.
Kind of, even the original Batman and Batman Returns, which I love Batman Returns, dude. I love Batman Returns. But at the end of the day, let's be honest, at the end of that movie, there are penguins with like rocket packs on their backs. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like a big duck car.
Chris Nolan's first one, Batman Begins.
Yeah.
That was
it's great.
Corny.
No, it's great.
Yeah, but I mean, compared to Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises,
yeah,
it's still
definitely stepped it
cartoony.
up.
But the thing that gets me excited, and I'm a military buff and like a history buff too, but the thing that gets me excited is like, well, if there was going to be a Batman, of course he would use military technology. Yeah. And of course the Batmobile is this awesome advanced tank. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome. There's no penguins at the end. Yeah. You feel me? And so that's why, but your point is really well taken as far as The Dark Knight Rises, because it's like, yeah, okay, the city goes on lockdown and stuff like that, but truthfully, I mean, they're using like a nuclear bomb in that movie. Bane, God, that voice.
Do it.
Huh?
Do it.
You do a good Bane.
What line? Because we always talk about
Rises.
Oh yeah. Well, now I'm on the spot here. They expect one of us in the wreckage, brother. Well, you have to kind of do the hand on, don't you? The fire rises, and then yeah.
God, it's good.
Not my best impressions, by the way.
Yeah, he does
but-
a better Bane.
Yeah, way
Yeah.
better. But I'm on the spot, and I'm nerved. Anyway,
nerved.
yeah, sorry. I'm shaking. I just peed. No, but Bane is so good in that
Maybe
movie.
you do better as a Bane cat.
Did you ever see the Bane
Yeah,
cat videos?
yeah, it's great.
I'm not gonna do Bane anymore. Now I'm like blushing probably.
Yeah.
But no, Dark Knight Rises is just as good. But the thing that separates the Dark Knight and puts it well above the Rises is Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Period.
Yes,
God.
totally.
Would you still feel that way if he didn't die? Do you think?
Honestly, I'm not sure.
Me
I
either.
mean, I can.
It's like I don't disagree with what we just said.
I
but-
feel like I can say that because I don't know him.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's really no difference that he's
Yeah.
alive or dead because I didn't know him before and I
Okay.
don't personally know
Yeah.
him again. So it's not like, oh, I'll never see him again. I look at it for what it is, and that
Yeah.
movie is excellent. He
So have you
does-
not seen A Knight's Tale?
I don't think I have.
Oh no.
What? You haven't seen A Knight's Tale? No, I'm dead serious. You
I
haven't
don't-
seen A Knight's Tale?
It's him and
That came out like when we were in like middle school.
Who's in it?
I don't,
Him-
I
Heath
don't-
Ledger.
I don't want
I
you to feel
know
attacked,
that.
but
it's him and
we
who
gotta
else?
see it.
I
the
feel
dude
betrayed.
the dude that plays Vision in
Okay.
Avengers.
Okay.
You haven't seen A
Redhead
Knight's
guy.
Tale?
I don't think so.
Oh.
So
I just recently saw Brokeback Mountain, if that counts.
A Knight's Tale is so much better.
we actually talked about Knight's Tale at work yesterday, and
love
one
that
of the ladies doesn't like it, and I reject her opinion on that.
100%.
Yeah. It's so
Knight's
good.
Tale's
You
so
got- you
great.
Gotta watch it.
Okay.
You'll love it.
We will.
Yeah, don't say don't. Come on.
What?
Spoilers?
Yeah.
What? I was gonna say we will have a great time watching
mean,
it together.
I haven't seen
Okay.
it, so.
Yeah. I believe you.
A Knight's
It's
Tale's
so
so
good.
good. No, but back to the Heath Ledger thing. I feel like us as people, as a society, we want to have a good story, and for someone to, because he died like 6 months before that movie came out.
Yeah.
So for someone to pass away, and then to see that movie and be like, wow, I was really sad that he passed away. I hope he does good in this. And then leave the theater almost catching your breath because
Yeah.
it was so good.
Because he was perfect.
Yeah.
He was perfect in that. I think if he hadn't have died, he would still, I think, be the best Joker ever.
Yeah.
But he's up on a different scale
Yeah.
because he died.
Yeah.
You know what
and
I mean?
he died because of the role.
Exactly. Yeah, it drove him insane.
Yeah.
And he got into pills and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Is
You didn't know that?
Is that confirmed?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
He
he-
was taking these medications
He was
because he wasn't like during the filming he was like so into the character that he was making himself manic. He wasn't sleeping.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He went full on it and it killed him.
Wow.
Bottom line. You can read it. I mean, you can
That's
read about
sad.
And we all benefit from it.
it. You know, honestly, I mean, if you're an artist, isn't that kind of your goal? Like, not to die, but I mean, like, to really impact. You
Yeah.
know, if you're an actor, an artist, you really want to make an impact like that.
Yeah.
And of course, I wish he didn't die.
Yeah.
But at the same time, to leave with that on the table, his absolute best was just amazing. And like I said, us as a society, as a people, we like that kind of story. That's the ultimate happy ending. It's happiness out of tragedy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
God, what a great choice, Diana.
Yeah. So that would have been a good time to hit the airline.
I have too much respect for Heath.
Oh, but not for Chris Kyle, huh?
Well-
American hero.
I mean,
You piece of shit.
you know, did he wear clown makeup, Greg? Didn't think so.
Oh my god.
No, I have utmost respect for Chris Kyle. Thank you very much. Man, some great choices. So we've gushed over all these movies. Let's talk about some of the worst movies you've ever seen,
Ugh.
or some movies that people, and you can't say Fellowship of the Ring because that'd be a personal attack, and I wouldn't appreciate it. Some movies that people just worship that you are just not a fan of, and you don't understand why they. So, you go ahead and start.
The only movie I've ever walked out on was The Hulk with Eric Bana. I remember me and my friend went and saw it. We walked to that movie theater that was by Black Sheep. And
Coeur d'Alene Cinemas.
yeah, I remember it felt like the intro lasted like 15-20 minutes of just nothing happening. And I fell asleep, and then we woke up. I woke up, and I was like, "What are they doing?" And my friend's like, "I don't know, man." I was like, "Do you just want to go play video games?" He's like, "Please." And we just bailed.
Funny. Oh my gosh. That's funny. I think for me, one of the movies, and I don't think I've ever seen that movie, so I have no reference. I like
Give it
Eric
time.
Bana, though, so it's kind of sad to hear.
Fucking. Oh, man.
What?
I wanted to do honorable mentions in the
We can do
favorite
that.
movies.
Let's do that.
Okay,
We'll
real
just go-
quick.
yeah.
Real quick.
Okay, let's all do our honorable mentions.
I have two.
Lightning round. Okay.
You're not going to want a lightning round after I say them.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know, right?
Last Samurai, Troy.
Oh, both of which are in the cabinet right now.
Yeah.
We could watch them both right now if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Fuck, what a couple of movies. Okay, you think about it. You put on face value. We just talked about this the other day. Tom Cruise is not a samurai. He's not even Japanese.
Nope.
Exactly.
That movie is phenomenal.
Yep.
Phenomenal.
So good.
God, it's so
Just
good.
like, what's that German movie he did where he was the German,
Valkyrie?
yeah.
Oh yeah, great
That
movie.
doesn't bother you guys as movie buffs? It doesn't bother you that there's no attempt at an immersion into this character. It's just like, look, it's Tom Cruise.
You mean like history buff?
Like, no, as a movie buff. Like, we just talked about how Heath Ledger literally died for his craft because he morphed into the Joker so much, but yet you give Tom Cruise props for being a samurai
Well,
and a German officer.
have you
Like,
seen both those movies?
I've seen Valkyrie, and I think I fell asleep during Last
Again,
Samurai.
oh boy, God. Okay, we're gonna have a real.
I know,
problem.
and you're not gonna like the.
We're gonna have a real problem.
You're not gonna like my choice for
Yeah,
a
I know.
terrible
I'm
movie.
really, boy, I'll tell you. So okay, Last Samurai. I understand if you haven't seen it and you don't appreciate how he gets there, you don't understand. You just don't. You have to watch it.
He is an American officer.
Yeah, he's
And
an American
he was
officer.
He's sent to train the Japanese, and he gets captured.
Yeah.
And
Okay, I
he
didn't
gets-
know that part.
Yeah.
He gets
No,
captured
it's not
by
like-
the last surviving samurai who are rejecting
The modern way.
Yeah, the Japanese imperial government that
Okay.
wants to bring everything into
That makes a
the
lot
20th
more sense.
century.
And he gets like indoctrinated into this culture, which
Into the
then
way
he
of the
sees
samurai.
the way of the samurai, and he sees how beautiful it is. And they don't just like, hey, do you want to be a samurai? They
You just gotta work
resist.
for it, yeah.
They resist him. It's such a good movie. I see what you're saying, but it's such a
Yeah.
good movie. And as far as Valkyrie is concerned, when it comes to a good historical movie, because that's a true story, I don't know if you knew that, but when it comes to a good historical movie, you better bring your A game on the acting too. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to see freaking what's his name, Seth Rogen in Valkyrie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to see that. I want to see Tom freaking Cruise or Brad Pitt or something like that. And whatever. I get. It's like okay, well it couldn't have been a German actor. Could have. Christoph Waltz. He was in Inglourious Basterds. Did a great job. But that's the thing. I get that part. But you got to have the bottom line is you got to have some star power to put butts in the seats, and then you also got to have some star power to make sure that you can convey that.
Exactly. So he is seemingly not a good enough actor to convey a different nationality with such conviction that people could really get behind it. Because what about all these British, Australian, Irish, like people that they, work, and they play an American person, or vice versa. This American person works to do a really good, convincing British accent, and they you're not catching anybody going into like a Downton Abbey movie, be like, hey dude, what's up?
Yeah.
I'm here at Downton. Like, just because they're an American actor. Oh, I'm
I see
this
what you're
person.
saying.
You
I
know
see what
I
you're
mean?
saying, but I feel like you have to watch these movies.
I've seen Valkyrie, and it bothered me.
That's because you're German.
Probably.
So I'm really excited to know what movie your pick is.
It's the if I
You
thought
realize
about,
we're doing honorable mentions right now.
Well, no, I did I did three. I did my
You spoke your piece.
I did my garbage one and then 2 honorable mentions.
Also, Troy, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Effing
I
phenomenal.
don't think I did my final favorite movie. Did
Let me
I?
give my 2 seconds
Okay,
on
anyways.
Troy because Troy's a great pick. Great pick. Brad
Yeah, you
Pitt.
did Dark Knight. That was your.
Oh, yeah,
favorite
I did
movie.
that.
Yeah.
Brad
yeah.
Pitt is Achilles.
Oh,
5 seconds into the movie.
Eric Bana is Hector.
Yeah, dog.
Hector!
And then, Orlando Bloom is
Paris.
bitch ass Paris, yeah.
Fucking little.
But like 2 seconds into the movie, freaking Brad Pitt's flying through the air.
Yeah.
Shing! Just a nice sword straight through the what was it? What would that be?
Delt.
Yeah, the deltoid just straight. Shing! Just boom, game over.
Yeah.
So good. That
Goes
sets the
back to his
tone.
whores.
Sets the tone big time. That ancient Greece boy. Anyway. Hector! We are lions. Anyway.
Troy and the Myrmidons.
Woo! Fuck. I want to watch all these movies we're talking about. Yeah.
God.
So good.
Ajax.
Bring it
on
up.
on the boat. Row.
Oh, dude.
Greeks are dying.
God,
God,
so great.
dude. Take me back.
Go and
okay.
speak your damage.
My pick, and this is just today. I haven't thought of anything else, but this movie had a lot of hype, and I don't get it, and I think I fell asleep, or we just had to stop watching it because I was not enjoying myself. Apocalypse Now.
Horror!
I don't understand what was going on.
It's a film.
It's
not a movie. That is a film.
I don't get the concept of it. It was above my head, I will say.
I'm not. There's no reason for me to defend Apocalypse Now. You would have just terrible taste on this one.
Okay.
That is such a good movie.
Well, I don't get it.
It's Vietnam.
But weren't there like aliens or like there was like
what
weird.
What the hell are you talking about?
There was the guys that were.
You think about Independence Day?
No, I'm not retarded.
Well, apparently you are, because Apocalypse Now didn't have aliens.
No, it wasn't like aliens. It was like tribal people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
Vietnamese.
Maybe that's where I didn't get it.
Boy.
I don't get the Orientals.
Oh my goodness, that's on tape.
I've never seen it.
Oh my God.
Okay. Yay!
It's in the cabinet.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, so I don't.
Okay, watch it.
Yeah. I mean, it's 3 hours long.
Didn't you just sound offended when she said that?
No,
No,
I
he was
didn't.
laughing.
I gave no response.
Apocalypse Now is incredible. Yeah. It's incredible.
I believe you.
You like Full Metal Jacket?
Of course I do.
You'll love Apocalypse
Okay.
Now.
Get on it.
Unbelievable.
Sorry.
Man.
The other one that
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, you've heard that. It's freaking incredible. That whole scene's incredible. Or when he's in his hotel room and he's smashing shit and he breaks his mirror and he wipes the blood all over his face. Martin Sheen is a G. That actually happened.
I thought it was this guy in Braveheart.
Mel Gibson?
Is he in that?
He's in a different Vietnam movie.
Oh, okay.
What the fuck was that movie? Mel Gibson, Vietnam.
Good Morning.
Thin Red Line? No, that was World War II.
No. Fuck. Here, do your.
You thought Mel Gibson was in Apocalypse Now and that it had aliens.
I did.
Okay, that's all I have to say because you have no idea what you're talking about.
I just remember not enjoying it.
Go ahead to your next movie you were going to mention.
We Were Soldiers, sorry.
We Were Soldiers.
Great movie.
My honorable mentions include one thing that I already said was all the Marvel movies. Absolutely love them all. Could watch any of them at any given time.
We could have a whole podcast on that. And maybe we will.
Yeah, you never know. Highest honorable mention would be all the Harry Potter movies.
Oh.
Probably some of my favorite movies of all time.
Fun fact, Diana and I actually are only married and have a happy life together and a son because we both decided to go see Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix on July 16th, 2007.
That is true. Favorite Harry Potter movie is Half-Blood Prince.
Okay.
Really?
Yes.
I like that.
I was convinced it was Prisoner of Azkaban.
That is my nostalgic favorite.
Let's do that real quick. So Half-Blood Prince is yours.
Okay, my nostalgic favorite Harry Potter is Prisoner of Azkaban.
Wouldn't it all be nostalgic?
No. But I think the best movie of Harry Potter, the one that's done the best and just the best of them, is Half-Blood Prince.
That's a great point. So. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
And then my last honorable mention is basically any Disney animated movie. I absolutely love them. That could be a whole nother podcast of our childhood. And
honestly, I think this is going to be just part one of this discussion, right? Because there's so much we could talk about.
Yeah.
But to the Harry Potter point, my favorite Harry Potter, and it's a weird one. No, not weird, but it's, in my opinion, it came out at the right time, did the right things in the right style, at the right rate or the right pace. Deathly Hallows Part 1. So good. Because you're, spoiler alert, but again, if you haven't seen Harry Potter, I don't want to know you. You're away from Hogwarts. Half-Blood Prince is exceptional. And honestly, it's like Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Half-Blood Prince are like right here. Like so close. But Deathly Hallows Part 1 is just such a break from tradition. Because at that point, you're 7 movies in to the formula.
Yeah.
Summer at the Dursleys. You go back to Hogwarts. Something crazy happens. It's Christmas time. Something crazy happens. Spring, it all wraps up, right?
Yeah.
But in Deathly Hallows Part 1, it's just from start to finish. Hey, we're not going to Hogwarts this year. Hey,
We're on the
Voldemort.
run.
Yeah, Voldemort's after you. Oh, hey, this person just died. Oh, hey, the Ministry of Magic's all fucked up. Oh, hey, blah, 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 blah. It's amazing. And then Deathly Hallows Part 2, you know, they go back to Hogwarts and there's this epic battle. And I'm not taking anything away from that movie, but just insanity, just pure insanity. That Deathly Hallows Part 1, it's such a change of form, such a change of pace, and they did such a great job with it. So good. Also, my honorable mention, everything Diana said pretty much, but, and I actually
I
mentioned.
guess I won't do my favorite Harry Potter.
Oh, sorry, everybody. Go ahead.
Goblet of Fire. Go ahead.
Hey, why?
I don't know. I just love it. When the French chicks show up and they're super hot.
Woo, super
and
hot.
then the
Come on,
Russian
we all know
dude- The Russian dudes come in and it's like they're fucking banging the sticks. There's fire and shit.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Real cool.
Victor Crumb.
Yeah. Cedric Diggory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cedric was a little. He wasn't like cool for me.
Well, he died. So.
Okay, so I don't.
Sacrificed
Wait, is it an air horn opportunity? No, Goblet of Fire is a great movie. Great movie.
It's the first time you see like the return of Voldemort.
Here's a question.
First time you hear Avada Kedavra.
Yeah.
You see,
and it
you see
happens.
Lucius Malfoy with the Death Eaters.
It's not Lucius. It's Lucius.
I
You didn't
feel
remember
like
his name the other day.
I didn't. You're right.
I feel like the Goblet of Fire is the first time they got dark.
Yeah.
It is. No, I don't know. First Order of
When
Azkaban was pretty dark.
they cast the dark
No.
mark and the skull goes up
Von
into the sky.
Vada. That's what he says.
When they're at the Quidditch Cup.
Yeah.
Ugh.
No, it's like the whole movie's dark. Like it
Oh,
got
yeah.
dark towards the end of Prisoner of Azkaban, but no,
We
the
could do an
movies
entire
got
podcast
dark.
on
I
Harry
know.
Potter, and I think we
we
should, to be honest with
I
you.
agree.
Because Harry Potter starts out so. Oh, Hattie, it's your birthday. Here's a cake, and Hagrid brought it, and oh, here's an owl.
No, you're a wizard, Harry.
You're a wizard, Harry, and oh, magical creatures, and even the villain at the end is just a bumbling professor who is here to, oh, I'm gonna get you, Harry. And then, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, she's gonna torture Hermione, and she's gonna cut off her face, and you know, shit like that. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking awesome. God, amazing. Well
All right,
done.
So do your honorable mention.
My honorable mention, we've talked about a lot of movies, and again, I'm going to have a lot more to talk about in the future on a future podcast. But let me give a big thank you, not a shout out, a big thank you to Muppet Treasure Island.
Nice.
Did you ever see it?
Nope.
Did you ever see
I
it?
don't know if I have.
Muppet Treasure Island. Anyone who has ever seen it, throw me a text or an email, anything. Let me know you're in the Muppet Treasure Island Club, because Muppet Treasure Island was the greatest Muppet movie ever made. And it came out in the 90s, and it was incredible. Recently, I've seen a Muppet Christmas Carol or whatever, the Christmassy one, which we watched, I think it was last Christmas.
Yeah, that's the first time you've seen that?
First time I've seen that. Amazing. Not as good as Muppet Treasure Island. Muppet Treasure Island got me through a lot of hard times. It really did. I love that movie. My dad was gone for a spell, but when we moved up here, before I moved up here, because he moved up before us.
You should probably elaborate a little bit more on
Well, okay. We used to live down south, Pocatello, and he came up here and started a job, and he came up before we did, and we came up months later. Anyway, I watched Muppet Treasure Island a lot, and that movie's the best.
And then your trash movie.
My trash movie that everyone's all obsessed with, and I think is just garbage. What?
Go.
Say it. Say the movie.
Well, I have to think about it. You hit me on the spot. What's yours, Greg, while I think about mine?
I said the Hulk, but also
yeah.
Black Panther is trash.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Black Panther. Black Panther. I'm going to keep this as PC as I can. Black
Why start now?
Yeah, that's true. Black Panther. This thing was up for an Oscar for Best Picture?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and it's like the 17th best Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black Panther was absolute trash, and I don't care who knows it. If you liked that movie, you missed the point of that movie, because the point of that movie was to absolutely degrade an entire group of people. And I'm not going to get super deep into it, but that movie was garbage. The action was great, the graphics and the special effects were great. The movie itself was based around a really, really, really poor premise, and I really, really am sad that it did that.
Yeah.
Because you go to the movies, it's just over the last hour, you've heard us talk about these movies and how they made us feel and all this other stuff, because they take you to a place that is not real life, and they make it's an escape. And that movie perpetuated so many real life BS things Apocalypse Now and war movies and things like that. You know, you go into there and that does take those real life aspects and it makes them quote unquote entertaining or whatever. But when you go to a superhero movie, dude, I want to see superheroes.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about the problems of the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that movie perpetuated it. And because in the environment that we're in right now, they put it up for Best Picture.
Yeah.
Get out of
Trash.
here. Absolute trash.
Trash.
Anyway, I don't like Black Panther. Ah. So, I can't wrap it up like that because now I'm all heated. So, to wrap this particular, I'm going to call this movies part 1 because there's a ton that we could go over.
Part 2 TBD.
Part 2 TBD for sure. But to wrap it all up, what do you guys think? Like, what are some movies that are coming out soon that you just cannot wait to see?
Oh, that's a good question. The Downton Abbey movie. I mean, that's corny and
Downton Abbey's so good.
kind of lame of me, but
Not at all. Downton Abbey's great.
We got really into Downton Abbey when we were on maternity leave, and so that's one that I know is coming out soon that I'm very much looking forward to. I can't think of anything else on the spot right now.
Joker, Midway, that World War I movie,
Yeah.
Star Wars Episode 9,
Yep.
Top Gun 2. Those all just kind of like
Off the top of your head.
kicked me in the face.
Yeah. The main one that I'm looking forward to is episode 9.
Yeah.
The
I
wrap
feel
up
like
to the
next
story.
year there's gonna be a lot of movies coming out. Like projected kind of thing. I know next year's gonna be a big year for Disney and all their movies, which really, all of their movies hit it out of the park.
Also, big shout out to The Lion King 1993.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be the biggest takeaway at the end of this podcast is we're definitely gonna elaborate a lot more on Harry Potter. We're definitely gonna elaborate a lot more on Marvel and
Lord of the Rings.
I've never seen any of those movies.
We'll discuss.
What?
Yeah, she is garbage. She is absolute garbage, and I'm there's a lot of regret in this household. So just to give you a little taste, I don't even want to get into that because we'll go on for another hour. Boy, I'm stunned. Boy,
I'm genuinely
I'm hurt.
stunned.
I'm hurt.
I'm speechless.
Stunned. I'm hurt. I've tried to get her to. Thank God, I've gotten her to watch Star Wars.
Yeah.
Anyway, so as a teaser, next year's movies: Black Widow, Top Gun 2, Fast and the Furious 9, trash. Godzilla versus King Kong, that's gonna be sweet.
Damn.
The Suicide Squad. Let's see. Onward, that new Pixar movie. Kingsman, The Kingsman,
Yeah.
yes
Oh,
sir.
that looked really good.
The new Ghostbusters, another James Bond, Bill and Ted, A Quiet Place 2, etc., etc. There's a lot that are coming out, but that's the thing about movies that I love so much too. Well, that's the thing I love about movies so much too is there's always new ones to get excited about.
Yep.
And I've actually had people in the past ask me, why do you love movies so much? And that I don't even have to answer that
Cut them out of
question.
your life.
Don't even have to answer that question. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Movies are amazing. This is just the beginning of many conversations we're going to have. Thank you for listening to this one. We're going to call this one part 1, I think. Part 2 to be determined. But anybody have anything in closing?
No.
All right. Thanks again. This has been Matt, Greg, and Diana on the Triple Scoop.